Writer, author, badass, and now podcaster. Who is it?
It's LSH.
Welcome to Talking Shit with LSH, a unique female perspective on sex, love, motherhood, relationships, careers, and the real shit women say and think about societal norms. Unleashed. It's not what you do, it's who you are. Who is it?
It's LSH.
Talking Shit. All right, so welcome back to Talking Shit with LSH. And so I want to talk about two other hot topics. And I'm going to show you a couple of images, and then I'm going to give you a couple of names. And so I guess maybe you've heard about the term baddie, maybe earlier. And I want to show you a couple of pictures, and then I'll give you a couple of names, and I'm going to ask you a question. Nicki Minaj, baddie or bitch?
Both.
Bitch. Beyonce, baddie or bitch? Both. Michelle Obama,
Baddie
or bitch?
She has to. I would say both.
Mm-hmm.
Hillary Clinton, baddie
Bitch. She is a bitch.
or bitch?
She needed to be more of a baddie.
Yeah.
She needs to be a baddie.
Yeah. And so what do you think about when you hear the term baddie? Because I want to know the difference between baddie and a bitch. Is it one and the same?
Baddie is you got your shit together.
Right.
Yeah.
Got it together.
Confident.
Yeah.
Confident. What else?
Self-aware.
Unapologetic.
That's good.
Yeah. I like that.
I think that's, to me, that's more of a bitch, unapologetic. But I understand what you're saying.
I was going to say free.
And fearless.
Authentic.
Authentic. Yeah, that's a good one. Free. I heard free.
Yeah. And fearless.
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 Secure.
Yeah.
Secure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just keep thinking bad to the bone, like to the core of who they are, like inside, they know who they are.
Yeah.
You know?
Is it a bad thing to be
No.
a bitch?
I don't think so. I think there are times when you have to bring a bitch out,
Mm-hmm.
I think bitch is more reactionary.
What do you mean by that?
like that.
which is what the same speaks to what I'm
that.
saying. When she has to come out.
What does that mean?
I just don't think that when you think about baddie and being authentic and that is just truly who they are. To me, bitch is something that's more of an attitude. It's something that comes up. It's not something that you just truly that is who you are. It's reactionary. It's usually because of something else that you're behaving or acting or doing a particular thing. To me, that's what bitch means. It doesn't necessarily always mean a bad thing, but it could be a survival skill for some people.
Yeah.
I think it's a projection of what other people perceive your behavior to be, because the word be comes up. I mean, I don't blame somebody for defending themselves. I don't blame somebody for if somebody looks at you, and they're not being nice. Well, you don't have to, you can try, but you don't have to be nice. But it's a perception for women where a man,
That is correct.
he's being
Assertive.
assertive, and he's being strong.
in control.
But when a woman has those same
She's a
reactions for
That's
the same
correct.
reason, then that term comes up. It doesn't bother me if someone, you think what you want to think, but, I think that word itself is such a, it's rooted in sexism to me, because I don't think, unless we're using it in a good way, I don't see how you could really ever be one, because like you said, it's reactionary. So you're doing what a man would do under those circumstances.
So when we hear there's a song, Bad Bitch. Who sings that? Wale? Yeah. You hear it, bad bitch. She's a bad bitch. Do you hear that in the same way, in the sexist way? You hear it in a good way.
No, because
right?
it's a slang. It's a slang term that we have, just like the N word. We don't.
I was just gonna say
we don't trip off of
like
that. Yeah, we've made it like a colloquialism. We've made it. It's part of our culture now. So no, I mean, the wrong person say it. We already know what that means. But in general, no, I don't. I think that I listen to a lot to rap, so I mean it.
So in a musical sense, it's fine. It's just like it's
Now, if somebody walks up to me and says, "Blank, I'm about to knock you out," that's clear what that means, you know. But other than that,
See, I don't care for the term.
Me either.
And I guess I think differently about it. You know, if someone calls me a bitch, that's one thing. You know, I don't really care what it is about me that had them decide that I am one, because I know who I am. But for myself, and I think for me, I internalize things because I know, and what I try to control is when I cross over from baddie to bitch, because I know I do it. And I try not to. And I think for me, it's when my baddie becomes inappropriate or hurtful, and where I'm saying things that, you know, maybe out of my confidence and my security, but it comes off as offensive to you. You know, that's when I'm like, okay, I was kind of a bitch. And I didn't mean to. And that's when, you know, it's not a good thing. So I think for me, either way, whether someone's calling me one, whether it's a girlfriend bit, I don't care for it. Certainly not if a man calls me one. Don't care for it. And I don't really like to feel like I'm being one. So that's just me. I mean, maybe I'm just a little bit more conservative. You know,
But that's if you're saying that bitch is a negative word.
How many of you think it's a negative?
for me.
I don't like it. That's interesting to me because when LSH came down and said, "Hey bitches,"
Yeah.
were you guys offended?
I wasn't. It's a term of
Well,
endearment.
that's why
I don't think it's not always a negative and stuff. So while I understand where you're coming from,
Yeah,
I do.
that it's not. I really agree. I'm sorry.
Jennifer.
Camille.
Camille. What Camille was saying is really turned into a form of, depending on who's using it,
Yeah.
just like the N-word, you know? Like, you know, we're sitting around and she's like, "Hey, bitches."
Right.
I'm like, "Yeah, I'm a bitch."
It wasn't inappropriate for this environment.
Exactly.
It was not inappropriate for this environment.
wasn't.
But had you come into a medical office, we're all sitting there waiting to get pap smears, and said, "Come on, bitches, it's your turn." Then you know what I mean? It wasn't inappropriate for
I
this
don't greet my
environment.
friends with that.
Yeah.
We don't greet each other with that. So for me, I hear other people that say it, and it's like, that's what you do. But for me, that's not how I interchange with women in my circle.
I think it's just like I think you have to take it case by case
Yeah.
in a sense. You know,
You can
can't
call yourself that, but
Yeah, I mean, you have to look at it. Who's saying it? What the intent is.
Right.
It's one thing I have completely learned in these years I've been on this earth is that generalizations are a sin, in my opinion. Because anytime you generalize something, you are negating or affirming. And you could be negating something positive and affirming something negative. You could be doing either of those things in reverse. So I don't make generalizations. So that word on a case
So
by case basis.
let me ask this. We had a piece. LSH wrote a piece, Bad Bitch. So it was performed. It was read. That's the signature piece. How did you feel about hearing that? Right? Because that was said several times in the piece, Bad Bitch. It's entitled
heard it.
Bad Bitch.
But I didn't feel I didn't attach myself to it.
Agree.
at all.
Yeah.
Agree.
I heard it. I didn't feel anyway. I felt it was a good piece.
Yeah.
I didn't attach myself at all to it.
So it was a
I could
good
hear what
emotion.
she said.
Yeah.
Clearly.
And then and I'm asking in that term. So now it's not just bitch, it's bad bitch. It's all of that it entailed, all the wording. But I'll let you say.
I was taking it from a performing artist point of view because we were watching an artist perform, and that's the expression that the artist portrayed. And so every artist has a right to interpret what they want to bring to light. So it was just even though I'm offended, I don't want to be referred to as a bitch, and I could understand what you were saying sometimes, because I can relate to that. Sometimes when I'm in my badass self, I cross over to being a bitch and to other people, and I don't like that. And I'm sure some other people have called me a bitch, you know, because, and then I know it, and I ask people, I'm sorry, and I apologize because,
Do you?
yeah, because I don't like being a bitch.
And that's what I wanted to
At
touch
work.
on. That's what I wanted to touch on.
No, I
Because
just
I'm very confident. If you have someone that reports to you, and this person is deliberately taking advantage of you, and you have to lay down the law, and she says you're a bitch, are you offended by that, or are you doing your job, what you have to do? Sometimes we have to be bitches, and I take pride in being it. If it means that the job is getting done, it's not being a bitch. It's making people respect you in the role that you're supposed to be in.
You know what I say to that today? If somebody calls me a bitch, I'll say, as long as you own the projection, because it's how you're feeling.
But
And you're projecting.
I don't necessarily agree with that, because I have encountered people who are a bitch and they own it. And they treat people a certain type of way, they talk to people a certain type of way, and everyone agrees with it, and they say, that's just who they are. And so I don't accept that. If that's who you are, that's who you are, but I don't have to necessarily accept that. But I have encountered people who own up to being a bitch, not crossing the line, you know, when they, I'm a baddie, right? And I'm being a bitch when I have to be. But I'm a bitch, and it is what it is, and I say what I want to say, and I don't care whose feelings I hurt, and at what all costs, this is how I am.
Yeah. But that's not a bitch. That's an ignorant individual. That's an ignorant person.
My boss is like that. She owns it. Well, that's just how I am.
I'm learning you can say anything.
Yeah.
You can say anything and communicate without all this other drama attached.
No, absolutely.
Exactly.
Some people own it.
Exactly. You can call her saying she's being a bitch.
That's right.
That's just surface.
That's a cover.
We can dig up a little bit deeper. See, she's got a whole bunch of.
But I've met other females like that, and we just pass them by and saying, well, that's just who they are, you know. And I don't think it's okay. I don't think it's right.
But I agree. I don't think that that's generally who they want to be. I think that that's just the term, and it's easier. It's like the man who says, I'm an asshole.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, he's
And
being
I had
sarcastic,
somebody
he's
tell
being-
me that one time. I had a client. He was so nasty.
and arrogant.
He said, I told you I was an asshole. And I said, yeah, and when you told me, I believed you. The first time you told me.
Yeah.
I
And so
believed
I
it.
just think it's something that they attach to themselves.
Well,
because
and
it's
because-
not a secret.
But where is the line? So because I am candid and I am free with my words and I speak my feelings, I'm a bitch.
No, you're
So that's what I don't understand. And so that's what so is it that you're a bitch if you have a nasty undertone? Look, I don't make it a habit of sprinkling sugar on shit, trying to sell it as a sweet treat. You know what I'm saying?
But this is what I go back to
speak my
saying.
words. I am the same.
You're not a bitch, you're frank.
I am
People confuse the two.
But what
You're frank with what you say.
But that's what I'm saying. The thin line is, that's why I don't take offense to the word, because I do not believe that I am a bitch. I feel as if, and my best friend will tell you, I do find my words. I try to say things. I'm calculated. I am a little bit more calculated. I am. But I speak my mind. I am the same person in any place that you pluck me and put me. I am going to be the same person. That's why I don't take offense to
I
it.
love what she's saying.
Person, that's like, it doesn't make you a bitch.
Yeah.
Right.
You know when you're one and you're not.
Right.
Yeah,
I think the insensitivity comes from the bitch, right?
Right.
Yeah. So when other people project and attach that name to you, you know, that's very different than how we own this.
Right.
I own being a bad.
But you know it. You know
right?
it. You
I
know
own
it.
being authentic.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't call myself a bitch. I'd leave that for somebody else. But I think that when you're talking about the artists and the creativity of it all,
That's different.
it's very different. But in our real selves,
Right.
being a baddie, I can own it. Being my authentic self, I can own it.
Definitely.
And leave the name calling for everybody else.
Yeah.
But I think it's fighting words when you say bitch. Like you call me a bitch. It's like,
But it's in an undertone too. It is. It's in an undertone because I will bitch why? What? Bitch why? I wouldn't know you're a bitch. Then it's different.
You're a bitch.
Yeah, that's different.
That's fighting words.
You look good.
Yeah,
Come on.
that's how you say it.
That's what
That's
I'm
very
saying.
different.
Girl, yes I do. Bed